Good morning, students. Today we are going to study chapter number 4 of NCERT History Class 6 titled Maps. In this chapter, we are going to talk about different types of map, how do we study map and why are they useful. Now, if you see, it's our globe, it's our earth, which is, and this is a drawing on the flat surface. Now, when we are representing our earth on a flat surface, so we name it as map. So a map is a representation or a drawing of the earth's surface or a part of it drawn on a flat surface according to a scale. Now, what is a scale? That also we will discuss in the forthcoming slide. Now, how is it made? It is again, it is drawn on a flat surface. A map is drawn on a flat surface using a. Now, there are many components of maps and there are subtopics of this chapter which are as under. Now, we are going to talk about importance of maps, then we will talk about types of map, components of map, and finally we'll learn about sketch and plan. Now, maps, as you know, are very useful to us because they can show us both large area and small area. They are easy to carry. They contain certain facts. They provide more information than a globe, and they can be of different types, and the types of maps we are going to do just now only. Now, when we put all the maps together, when we compile the all maps together, say in a form of a book, then we call it a atlas. Now, globes, though are useful, they are very advantageous to us. They have very many advantages, but they have certain limitations also. And the limitations of globe are, it is difficult to carry. First of all, suppose in a class, if I ask you to bring maps, that is easier. You can just fold it and keep in a folder and bring it to the class. But to carry a globe is a little inconvenient. And as a teacher also, if I have to, if you are doing some work on the globe, for me to collect globes and then check the work is tedious. But comparing, if we compare it with the map is more useful in that case. Now, but a globe is useful when we want to study the earth as a whole in its actual shape. Okay. But it doesn't help us when we want to study only a part of it. Then maps are useful. Like if you're wanting to study the country, your own country, your own state, district, town or village, then in that case we have maps which are helpful to us, which will be more beneficial for us to study that particular area. So starting with your types of map, first we are going to talk about physical maps. So physical maps are also called relief maps, and we actually show natural features of a place in this map. So what are natural features? Your mountain, rivers, ocean, plateaus, etc. Suppose this is a map of North America. It is showing all natural features of North America, like your desert, grasslands, woodlands. And over here it is a physical map of India showing the various physical distribution like your desert, plateaus, mountains, etc. Now, starting with your second type of map, which is the political map, they are different from physical maps because physical maps talk about your physical features and political maps talk about the political cities. Like these maps will show the city, town, villages, etc. of your country. Suppose in this map, this is showing all major cities of North America. So, if I ask you what type of map is this, you will name it as political map. And this also shows different country and the boundaries of that place. Now, your third type of maps are the thematic maps. So, coming from this word only, theme. Theme means topic. So, the maps which talk about different topics, they are called thematic maps. So, we can have thematic maps on rainfall distribution, on forest distribution, on road maps. We can have forest distribution maps. So, whenever we are studying a topic in a given country, or a region, then we make use of thematic map. So this is the map shown over here is the rainfall distribution map in the India, our country India. Now there are three type of components in the map. The first and which are distance, direction and symbol. They are very important when we talk about maps. Let's learn about them. We'll start with distance. Now distance means you have seen like if I ask you to draw Delhi map. So can you, if you are drawing daily to its equal size, can you do it on a map? Because the actual places are very big. So we need to reduce those places so that we can draw them in a small drawing called map. So maps are reduced to small drawings using scale. So what is scale? That we are going to talk about and understand. So scale is actually a ratio between the actual distance on the ground, which is very big, to the distance shown on the map. There we reduce it using scale. Now this reduction has to be done very carefully, because we are actually comparing the real distance to what the distance is reflected in the map, shown in the map. So how are distance represented in the map? A small distance on paper represent a large distance on ground. For that we use a scale. Now if you are to show the long distance using a scale, so how would you do this? Now look at this map. Is North America only of this size? No, it's a huge country. You must have seen India's map. So is India only of size of your paper? No. So how do we show? Now you can understand using this. Suppose this is your house and this is a favorite marketplace you go to buy your different things. Now the distance between your house to the market is 5 kilometers. But if I ask you to draw 5 kilometers on a sheet, that means you need a 5 kilometer long sheet. And this, I'm only talking about the two things. Suppose they're big places. So how do we show them? So for our convenience, we make use of something called scale. Now if I have to show, so I can use a scale. 1 kilometer equal to 1 centimeter. So if I draw 5 centimeters here, that will represent my 5 kilometer. Okay, so like this using this scale I can show the distance between my home to the market. Now suppose if I want to show you, suppose you want to show a distance of 20 kilometers using 5 kilometer equal to 1 centimeter scale. So this is a scale given to you and you have to show 20 kilometers. So how would you show? So you will draw 4 centimeter long line, and this is the sketch this is the scale that you will mention. So a map scale is used to show the relationship of distance shown on the map to the real distance on the earth. Now there are two types of maps. One is small scale map and the other is large scale map. So when we are showing, coming to small scale map first, when we are showing large areas like your continents, your countries, then because they are large areas, so we need to use small scale maps. That means a 5 centimeter on the map may represent 5 kilometer on the ground, because we are showing big areas on a small thing. Now suppose you want to study your city or your village in a big detail. That means there we will use large scale map, because we are studying them in a large scale. That means 5 centimeter can be shown as 500 meters. So this is a large scale map. Then obviously because we are studying a small space, small area in details, so large scale map provide more details. Okay, so again this is a better difference shown between the two. Small scale map shows large areas, large scale map shows smaller areas. So that is why small scale map gives less details and large scale maps gives more details. Now coming to directions. So everywhere on the maps you will find this N written there. This is called north line. You will find the scales mentioned there. So the north line means if you know the north direction, you can find all the other direction like your south, west, east. So directions are very important if we are finding if you are studying a place, if you want to learn about the location of a place. So the directions are very important when we know to learn about a place. So there are 4 major directions: your north, south, west and east. Then we have 4 intermediate directions, which are your northwest, northeast, southwest and southeast. Now they're very important. Your intermediate direction, these 4 intermediate directions are very important when it comes to locate a place more accurately. Now we can find direction of a place using an instrument called compass. It always points in north-south direction, and once you know the north direction, we can easily find out the other 3 directions. Suppose, and this is the one from your book, suppose this is the Vikas house and I want to learn the direction, find out the direction of the community center, playground and the school from his house. So this clearly shows the community center is in north direction, the playground is in northeast direction, and the direction of school from shops, these are the shops, from shops is east direction. So like this you can write it. So whenever you are studying a map, always keep this in mind, where are the different directions. This is north, south, west and east. See, it is also showing a scale. The scale over here is 1 kilometer is equal to 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meters. Now the third component of maps are symbols. Symbols are very important because we cannot, it's not very convenient and possible for us to draw the actual shape and size of different features on the map. So to overcome this problem, we make use of different symbols, and symbols can be of your letters, symbols can be in shades form, color form, picture and lines. So what is the use of these symbols? These symbols help us to give a lot of information in a limited space of map, and because of these symbols, maps can be drawn easily and are simple to read. Now colors are very important. They play a very important role in maps, in map symbols, and generally we make use of these symbols. Like we use blue color for water bodies, brown for mountains, yellow for plateau and green for plants or trees, etc. Now suppose if you are visiting a place, suppose you are visiting Germany and you do not know, you are visiting France and you do not know the language of that place, but you have map of that place. So can you go around the country, go around that place? Yes, because there are certain conventional symbol which are like universal symbol for the entire world. We make use of them. So if you know these symbols, if you know how to use them on maps, then you can go any place on the earth and in the world and roam around. So these are certain conventional symbols given, and these are the color that we use for depicting different natural features. Now this is the last part of this chapter, a sketch. So sketch is your memory based. It's a rough drawing based on your memory. Suppose if you want, there's a new classmate in your class and you want that classmate to go to some other, like you're meeting at one place. So if you want to help him with the drawing, he's new to the place you are living in. So you can give him certain guidelines, like from your house you come to this place, from there. So it's a sketch which is memory based and it is a rough drawing. Okay, so you can help your friend coming to your place or to your friend's place using this sketch. Now what is a plan? A plan is again a drawing of a small area drawn on a large scale. Okay, so this is the plan. Many of you must have seen, or you can request your parents to see. Every house has a plan. So it gives a detailed information about the measurement of each room, where are the balconies placed, where are the doors are placed. So we can have a detailed information using this plan of a small area. So to know the length or breadth of a room, like in your house, you can refer to the drawings drawn to the scale. They are also drawn to the scale. Sketch is not drawn to the scale. It's a rough drawing. But plan is drawn to a scale. Thanks for watching. Please go through it again for better understanding. Thank you.